All right, today we're diving into the dog laws of Hurley, New York. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dog laws sounds a little dry, right? But trust me, these rules are basically the playbook for being a good dog owner and, just as importantly, a great neighbor in the community. So let's break it all down.
So let's start with the big question. Why do these rules even exist? Well, the town code tells us straight up, the whole point is to protect the health, safety, and well-being of everyone, people and property. It's not about being punitive, it's about making sure everyone can coexist peacefully, dogs included.
To make all this legal stuff a little easier to digest, we're going to use this one simple idea throughout our little explainer: community fences. Just picture every law as a part of a big fence that creates clear boundaries. When everyone respects the fence, the whole community stays safe and happy.
Okay, let's get our tools out and start building this thing. We're going to use this framework to turn what could be really dense legal text into a set of practical, easy-to-follow actions. We'll go through it piece by piece so you know exactly how to keep your own community fences in good shape. Every good fence has to start somewhere, right? You got to dig a hole and set that first post nice and strong. For our community fence, that first post is your dog's legal ID. This is the absolute foundation, making sure your dog is officially on the books with the town.
So, this is absolutely crucial. Getting your dog a license in Hurley isn't just a suggestion, it's a must-do. Any dog over 4 months old needs one, and you've got to renew it every single year. And that tag, it's not just jewelry. It has to be on your dog at all times, and you can't even get the license without showing proof of a rabies vaccination.
Okay, now this is where it gets really clever. Check out the fee structure here. It literally costs double to license a dog that isn't spayed or neutered. This isn't just some random pricing. It's a very intentional choice by the town to use a little financial nudge, It encourages owners to spay and neuter their pets, which is a huge part of responsibly managing the animal population.
All right, we've got our first post in the ground with the license. Now it's time to start adding the actual rails of the fence. This next part is all about the physical boundaries. We're talking leashes, we're talking property lines that keep our dogs and our neighbors safe when we're out and about.
You're going to see this term "at large" pop up a lot in the town code. It sounds kind of formal, but it's a super important legal definition. So what does it actually mean for you on a regular day, just walking your dog?
And here's the answer. It's not as simple as you might think. It's actually a two-part rule. A dog is at large if it's off-leash on public property. Makes sense. But, and this is the part people sometimes forget, it also means your dog is on someone else's private property without their permission. So the law protects both public spaces and your neighbor's front yard.
So we've got the physical fences down pat, but our community fence has parts you can't see too. Let's talk about the boundary of sound, that invisible fence, and the rules about barking.
This is interesting because the town kind of gives you two different rulers to measure noise. On one hand, you have the dog control law, which is a bit subjective. It prohibits habitual or unreasonable barking. But then you have the noise law, which gives us a hard and fast rule. And it's super clear-cut. If a pet's noise is continuous for more than 15 minutes, boom, that's a violation. No gray area. 16 minutes of nonstop barking and you've officially breached the invisible fence.
Okay, so what happens when someone or some dog breaks through one of these fences? Whether it's the physical fence of a leash law or that invisible 15-minute barking fence, let's look at what the town actually does about it. Well, when a dog is found breaking the rules, it kicks off this very clear 4-step process. First, a dog control officer can seize the dog. Then they have to notify the owner right away. After that, the dog is taken to a shelter where it's properly cared for. And that starts the clock on the final step, redemption, which is the owner's chance to get their dog back.
And here's the kicker. That redemption window, it's tight. I mean, really tight. Owners have just 24 hours from the moment their dog is seized to reclaim them. To do that, you've got to show up with proof of a valid license and pay all the required fees. 24 hours is not a lot of time.
And this is where you can really see the town means business. The penalties don't just go up a little bit. They escalate, and they escalate fast. A first-time offense could get you a max fine of $50, but a second time, that fine jumps 5 times, all the way to $250, and the potential jail time doubles. The message is pretty clear. They really want to discourage repeat offenses.
So after all that, what does it really boil down to? It's actually pretty simple. It all comes down to these 3 fundamental duties. Number 1, keep your dog's IDs legal and on their collar. Number 2, keep them physically contained with a leash and by respecting property lines. And number 3, make sure their barking doesn't become a problem for your neighbors. If you nail those 3 things, you're being a great dog owner in Hurley.
And that wraps up our look at Hurley's dog laws.
At the end of the day, these rules are more than just a list of don'ts. They're a shared agreement on how to live together peacefully. Being a responsible dog owner really just means being a thoughtful neighbor. So we'll leave you with this one question to think about. Are your community fences in good repair?